Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Alex. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Be Sober podcast. I don't know what episode it is. I don't know what series it is. I only just know what day it is.
I
It
don't
is,
even know that.
well, by the time you're listening to it, it will be Saturday. But to me right now, it's Wednesday. And to
Yeah.
Alex, it's Wednesday.
Well, I don't know. Like I say, I've lost track of everything in life at the moment. Oh, are you dribbling?
I just literally just missed my mouth.
Oh, right. I know that I do this, right? And now I'm really self-conscious of it. And I come on the podcast, and if anybody is watching the video, I look really awkward. And it's because I am. Because I just said to Lisa, what we're going to talk about? Let's talk about the weather. And you know, I always talk about the weather because she always comments that I talk about the weather. But it's really bad here.
Desperate time, guys. It's like, come on, give us a weather update, Alex.
He's just absolutely chucking it down with hailstones.
You
That's it. That's
know
my
what I
update.
just realized? I can't even see out of a window. And now
Oh,
I feel like I can't breathe. I need to go and look outside. I need to see outside the
but that's really
window.
weird because your house is actually really light and airy, isn't
I
it?
know I've shut the conservatory blinds, so I'm gonna
Can I just say you've gone away and nobody can hear you and you're talking and you've gone.
well, I was just opening a window. I just needed to see. It's blue
Th-
skies here.
Well, it was here 5 minutes ago. It might
Oh,
come to you. Yeah.
it will do. It usually does.
Yeah. So, should we talk a little bit about what's going on today, who we've got on? I know that she's been on before, you see, so I quite feel like
Have we
we're going.
really not got anything to speak about?
Oh, I don't think so. Maybe not. I don't know. Oh, let me try and give you an update. I'm learning to play a weird fanfare for Easter on the organ.
Oh, so
Yeah.
what's that like? The name of a tune? It's
No,
not
there's
like
no
an instrument.
no, there's no tune. It literally, well, there is a tune, but it's a made up one. It's improvised, but it's not truly improvised because it's improvised and then repeated. So on the day it won't be improvised, but it is at the minute. So I'm like, I've learned this thing. It's like it just basically goes da 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 da.
I don't get it. I
Right.
don't
So
understand what you're saying.
right. So oh no, I wish I hadn't have started this now
Well,
though.
you have
Now
now, and I do not understand what you're saying.
oh no, right. Now I feel even more geeky than I did when I first come on, like, and I think I should have
No,
anyway.
don't feel geeky. I just don't understand what you mean.
Right. Well, I'll tell you the background of it then. On Easter Saturday, so the day before, weirdly, the day before Easter Sunday. So, right, in biblical senses, the day
Yeah,
before Jesus rises from the tomb, yeah,
yeah,
there's like a vigil goes on in the church every year. So at 8 p.m., we have this kind of prayer session where they walk around the church. It's quite solemn and serious. And then at the end of kind of the service or midway through the service, it kind of marks the end of Lent and the lights come up. So it goes from darkness into light.
right.
And then we sing this thing called the Gloria, which you're not allowed to sing all the way through Lent. You're not allowed to say
Right.
hallelujah or anything like that because it's all
Oh my God.
solemn. Yeah, it's all
You
very
can't say that.
well, I think you can, but a lot of people choose not to. I don't think there's like a law against it or anything, but I think it's like
That's awful.
you would definitely be sat in church wanting to
I
say it.
like already like want to say it.
Well, it's all right. You can say it till next Wednesday because it's not Ash Wednesday yet, so it's not even the start of Lent yet. But anyway, this I only know all this over the last few years. Isn't it good? I've learned all this like religious stuff. Anyway, so then as the lights are coming up before I play the Gloria, which is like this big climax of a moment in the church. I play this kind of improvised fanfare from quiet to loud to sort of blast everybody. But there's nothing in music written for it. You just have to make it up. But I can't
Right,
make it up
okay.
at the time. So what I do is I make it up with my teacher weeks
Yeah,
before and then I practice it. But everyone there, except for everyone listening on here, thinks it's made up.
in that moment.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the idea of being able to do it in that moment, like whatever, like takes your fancy.
I know, and if I was a bit more confident, because I'm skilled enough to do it now, where I wasn't a
Yeah,
few years ago, but I'm still not confident enough to do it. So I have to
yeah.
practice.
No, that's really cool. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a bit cool. So yeah, Lent starts next Wednesday. So I don't know what I'm going to give up yet, but I will give something up, I think. Or I might just make it a thing that I have to do something every day, like be mindful every day or notice
Yeah.
something in nature.
I've never give up anything for Lent.
Well, I never gave up anything for anything until giving up alcohol.
Well, you know what? I had something in my head. I've had a full menopausal moment, right? Because when you was talking about that and you'd finished, I'm like ready for my next sentence and it had gone,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
mind literally just emptied. I was like, oh shit, but you've just triggered it. When you were saying about Gloria, all I had a vision of is you in the New Inn singing
Singing Gloria.
karaoke, Gloria, or whatever. Yeah.
That's
So
quite
I
funny. Yeah, that
just
was
think
the only
like
Gloria I used to sing. Yeah.
how times have changed so much that you'd be like there with a drink on karaoke and now you're planning a fanfare at the church.
I know. I was saying before, don't I? I sound like your worst nightmare to me. I think I've said it on the podcast. I've definitely said it before, but my husband reckons that I've been missold.
Yeah, yeah. I get
Yeah,
that. You know, it's that preconception we have of people in it. Is that the right was that the right word?
I think so. Yeah, it would. Yeah, you shouldn't have even questioned it.
I
Just put
know
me
it's
on.
because I want to say misconception, but I
No, you were
don't,
right. Preconception of
yeah.
yeah.
That we have of people. I always remember, and I spoke about this years ago, but when I'd just stopped drinking and I was going to a bottomless brunch. It was at the times when I felt like I had to try and do things that I was invited to. And I'd been invited to a birthday bottomless brunch. And at the time, I'd stopped drinking and I was vegan.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah.
I had to ring them up and because I didn't want to make a big deal when I was there. So I'd rang and I was like, I just want to check, have you got um alcohol-free mocktails or alcohol-free drinks that I can have? And they were like, yeah, we'll sort it. I said, the other thing is I am vegan. And I kind of like, I felt the energy through the phone and I was like, I promise I'm not as boring as that sounds. And then I put myself under pressure to not be as boring as that sounds.
No, I do it all the time because, like, actually, when you really think about it, how many people play the organ? There isn't that many. So it's not boring at all. It's quite an interesting
Yeah,
thing. And when,
it's really interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
when people come up and look at it, right? Because people come and look at my organ.
Yeah. But I love looking at them at churches.
Oh, it's like, but mine's in a little loft, you know. So they come up sometimes and have a little look. And I always like try and be funny because I don't know why, just because it's like masking how I probably feel, which is awkward and uncomfortable. And I'm like, oh, come and have a look at my organ. And then I think, oh, why'd you say that in church? Why do you have to talk about it like that? Like, why do I have to say stuff? Why can't I just be normal and say, do you want to see the organ? But I have to say it's my organ and then make it like cringy.
No, I think that's in your head. That's how you perceive it.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, definitely. And I think church people wouldn't think like, and I suppose the way,
You must be
like,
joking. You want to see half of them? They're well naughty.
do you reckon? I feel like the way we've brought up that sentences like that, we
Like,
think
ha
of
had
other
it.
things. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's always innuendo in it, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not like, well, they are, some of them are actually. There's one particular woman in church. I won't name her, it's not fair. But she's very innuendo based, very naughty.
It's funny, in it with stuff like that. We're just thinking then, like, is there anything like even now as a grown up, if I heard like the number 69, I always think, oh, like
Oh, I'll
even,
tell you
and I
something.
think I'm an adult, like, why? But if somebody said, oh, like even if they go £1 69, it's there in my brain every single time.
When Leah was about, let me try and think. So Abel would have been a baby, so maybe 7 years ago. So we're talking, she's like nearly 18. So she's
Yeah.
about 10 or 11. And we were on holiday and they had like like a karaoke bingo night going on.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so we were playing bingo, the four of us. Abel was asleep in this bar. In fact, it's not that long ago because it was my first sober holiday. So what's that? 6 years ago, right? So she
Yeah.
was there. You go. She was 11. So she's we're playing this sober bingo, and it wasn't called sober bingo. I've just added that. And she was like, he did all this number 11, number 20, all this stuff, and then he went. 69. And Leah obviously knew it was naughty, but doesn't know why. And she just went, oh, and Sam was like, what do you know about the number 69? I was like, shh, stop being loud.
It's so bad. You know what that reminds me of when we were, when I was a teenager and my mum and I went to the butcher's with my mum. I don't know where it was, but I've got a vision of like the place and like queuing up with my mum. And she said, oh, can I have a ham shank? And I went, oh, because I was absolutely traumatized that she'd asked for a ham shank. I was like, I didn't know, like, I don't obviously heard of it in that time
Yeah,
as
yeah.
the innuendo, but didn't realize there was an actual real ham shank. So it just really shocked.
But did you know what ham shank the Cockney rhyme was at that
Yeah,
point?
I only knew what the Cockney rhyme was. So her asking for an actual ham shank in a butcher's, like where is a normal place to ask for something like that,
Well, yeah.
absolutely shocks me because I just didn't even I'd never heard her ask for my mummy asked for a ham shank in her life before then.
It's funny.
Oh,
Words are just funny. You've just reminded me, and I don't even know why because it's off topic. But when well, we talk about stuff like this in Be Fit quite a lot, but Abel being in the back of the car, and he's my youngest for anyone who doesn't know. And he was sort of like at an age where he knew most of his words, he could talk quite fluently, but he probably didn't know words for things he'd never seen before or not used before. And he was in the back of the car and he was going, Daddy, Daddy. And Sam was going, what? And he's going, I found a, and you could see him like he didn't know what it was called, and he had something in his hand, and he's going, I found a Coke starter, and it was a ring pull.
oh.
You know, like he just didn't have the vocab to tell us what it was.
I still don't. I'm still crap at trying to think of things like that. Rob says to me, and you know what I have found, and I'm so relieved. I find these things out all of the time now. I'm in more ADHD things that it's a common ADHD trait, not being able to describe things and using my hands and thinking of all the different words. It's like, so I've always felt really stupid about stuff like that. But actually, it's nice for me now to know that other people really struggle with descriptions. And that I've realized, sorry, this is nothing to do with anything, but I've realized why I'm not good at maths. And that's because of my ADHD and the fact that I only realized this the other day, so I need to share it with somebody. And
No,
that
you shared
happens
it
to
with
be you
everybody.
guys. But I think it went around primary school age. And you know where they talk about like, oh, a man got on a bus and he had 30p and there were
Oh yeah, yeah.
10 people and they had 10 apples and they tell all these stories.
I love the fact that
Try
you've just like mixed up two completely unrelated
Well, that's what I
scenarios.
mean. But like, so, but when now I realize looking back is I'm so visual that I'm on the bus, right? And I'm passing a bus driver the money and apples and things like that. But then I'm thinking, oh, do they want an apple? Do they not want an apple? Oh, look at that shirt. And I'm so like
So
distracted with
you were
my
thinking about the story and
imagination.
not about any of the maths around it.
Yeah, just the story. And I feel like that's where I went a bit wrong in maths. Anyway, just thought I'd share that with you.
It's funny, isn't it? Like when you were talking at the beginning and you said like that words have gone out of your mind
Yeah.
and like it wasn't coming back and you're having a full menopausal moment. I'm still not convinced, right? And I'm that there's any such thing as a menopausal moment. And I know that's awful, right? Because I'm at the same age. But I'm honestly, I think half the time brain fog is just how busy you are at this point in your life. Like, when else in your life do you have parents that are demanding, children that are demanding, jobs that are demanding, lives that are demanding, husbands that are demanding? Do you not think we just have a lot to do in our 40s?
Yeah, I do. And I get that. And I suppose you're like a little bit, we're talking about the labeling of that happening. So it probably happens at the same time that people may be going through menopause.
Yeah, I
So
know, but it's
do you know
like
what I mean? Like
I've
that
always been a
ages
bit
around.
scatty with words, though. Like, think about it, right? We go through our teenage years and stuff like that, and life just gets on. And then you have babies if you choose to have babies, you have babies and you get baby brain. That's forgetfulness. That's like brain fog.
Yeah, but yeah, and also a lot to do with hormones.
Maybe, yeah, but maybe not. Maybe this is just normal stuff. Like, I don't think it's only women that get brain fog. I think men get forgetful and
Yeah, they definitely do. Definitely. And I,
like, and
yeah.
I know that especially last year, there was a couple of occasions when we were doing podcasts and I would start talking and then think, what the fuck am I saying?
Oh, don't, Alex. I really, I've spoke about this on air before, and like the sober sessions times, and on weirdly on that ADHD podcast that we did, because it used to massively affect me. That like we'd be doing podcasts and I'd be talking and so into it and so passionate about what I was saying, and then it would be gone. Everything, and I'd be like, I don't know what I'm talking about, and then I'd have a panic that, but I was so passionate. How could I be so passionate about something, and now I don't remember what I'm talking about? And everyone here will think I'm a fake because I've got no idea what I am even talking
But then the
about.
more you put that pressure on yourself, the worse it gets, doesn't it? It's like, oh
Oh
shit.
yeah,
And then you're
I think
trying to remember and rack your brain and it's not coming. It happened. I can't even remember which podcast it was on, but a few times last year when we were doing them, and I would just midway through, I'd have thought of this like what I thought was a good statement to add to what they were saying. And then I'd start saying it and think, oh my God, I literally have I don't even have words. I don't know what I was doing. Like,
yeah,
is
it's
that brain fog,
awful.
do you think? Or is it just like forgetfulness?
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of all of it, like you say. I think, but I do think there's definitely like more of that. Like I have always been quite bad at describing things. That's part of, well, I decided it was part of my personality, and now I'm learning that it actually is. Do you know what I mean? But the blank, the literally your head just completely
Yeah.
being empty, is that's not happened until this last couple of years. Do you know
You
what I mean?
reckon?
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I genuinely think, yeah, I've not kind of, when I was younger, I wouldn't like walk into a room or be in mid sentence and just, it's like somebody has chopped my head off, emptied it out, and then I've gone, like, it's gone. There's
There are no
nothing
words.
there. And there's a lot in my head, a lot.
I know it spins a lot, don't it? But that's what I mean. There is so much in there. Do you not think sometimes that you just get a bit of a misfire of like, oh, what am I doing? Like, what was I doing a minute ago? What was I saying? What am I? Who am I even
Yeah, I know
talking
you're
to?
trying to be controversial about menopause. I think
No,
this is
but I
what you're
feel
trying
no
to get
because
at. But yeah, I
well, no, I'm not. I'm not really trying to be controversial about it because obviously that with my job at PTing, it's the people I work with. But the more, maybe I've just kind of done that thing that we do around drinking is when you fit yourself with people who are all the same, you normalize it, don't you? And you don't realize that actually it isn't normal or it is normal, whichever way around you want to look at it. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I
Like I
suppose
spend
that,
all my days with menopausal women. So
yeah.
we're all the same. I mean, it's quite funny sometimes. I'll be having a full on conversation with somebody and they'll go, how many have I done? And I'm just like, don't know. Didn't even know what you were doing. Just carry on. And we just accept that that's
Yeah, I
where we're
think
at.
that like even like my PT does that and she's like 21. Do
I mean, there
you
you go.
know
That's
what?
what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I agree. It is a thing, but I do think, for me personally, it's definitely happened a lot more in the last few years. And actually, yeah, there is a lot going on, but I'm not running it around after young children anymore. And I don't have. There's a lot of demands around me with job wise, I suppose, but I'm not as actively trying to do all these things as I was when my three children was younger, which is, do you know what I mean? I've got a little bit more headspace.
It's funny. I saw something on because we spend all the time sending each other reels now, don't we? It
Yeah, that's
literally
our
is our
commitment on our
community.
Instagram. It's literally just memes and
There's no
reels.
words, are there,
No,
apart from
no
ha ha,
words.
occasional ha ha, or you, me. That's us. That's Sam. That's Rob. That's basically our entire
Yeah.
conversation on there. But when we were like, there was a period of time, I don't know, in our like mid-20s where Lisa and I weren't really in contact. And then when we sort of got back together again, it was that funny moment of seeing each other on a video, which was like MSN Messenger at that time, wasn't it? If
Oh
I
my
remember
God,
right.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
when we came on there, I'll be honest about this. We'd have a glass of wine in hand, and we'd have kids between us, 6 kids. Well, 5 at the time, wasn't it? 5 kids, all like demanding us, and we'd just be sat there going, "Can you believe with our wine? Can you believe this? Can you believe the noise? Can you believe this?"
I know,
Now
it's
it's
mad, isn't it?
dogs, in it, and that's
I'm
what I was
so
saying about the
sorry.
reels.
Alex, I was listening, but I weren't listening right because I've got to share this. But you know, people will know, but we've just closed the Be Sober app, haven't we? We've gone
Yeah.
like we've got our WhatsApp community and our Be Sober Facebook group as always, but we've taken down the app because it just weren't working. And we've been emailing people who subscribe to the app to make sure that they've unsubscribed because they've gone on and have you seen it?
No.
They've gone on and they've subscribed, and we need them to unsubscribe because we don't want them being charged for anything, right? Anyway, there's a particular person that comes back to us every time, and we're trying to get them to unsubscribe so they're
Oh
not
no,
paying.
we've not done it
There's
again,
a
have we?
particular person that comes back and they're going, take me off your mailing list. And we're like, right, we're not trying to like sell you anything or do anything. You're subscribed and
You're on our mailing
we
list.
need you to unsubscribe from it because we're worried that you're going to get charged. Anyway, they're fuming about it. Every time they get an email off us saying you need to go in and unsubscribe, they shout at us. Anyway, we've had to send a final email out today. And as we press send, I said to Alex, I hope that person don't get mad about this if they're on, because we've not really know exactly who it was. Anyway, it's gone out and we've just had an email. Stop emailing me, please. I've asked to be unsubstantiated a gazillion times. You're driving me to drink. And it just popped up and I couldn't focus
Oh,
on
you
what.
need to reply and say, we're telling you to
No,
unsubscribe.
oh no, stop it. Oh.
We'll get a restraining order out on us or something.
Oh, I know. I'm
Anyway,
so
listen, our
sorry.
guest's here. And
Yes.
shall I let her in?
Yeah, she's got timekeeping like you.
No, she couldn't get in. I was messaging her. That's why I was kind of
Oh,
looking down at my phone.
I'm glad you told me that first.
I know you'd have been like, well, I was going to say, do you think she's forgotten? But I knew she hadn't because she was messaging me in the background. I sent her a
Oh,
message saying, are you still coming? Because I was about to go. Speaking of forgetting things, do you think she's forgotten? But no, she hasn't. Look, she's here.
I'm
Hi,
here.
Anna.
Hello, how I'm so sorry. Just the signal, I think. Oh God, dogs as well. Wait.
Well, we were just talking about this, Anna, actually, and it's quite funny that you said dogs as well, because the last bit that I was going to say before Lisa decided to tell me about an email was Lisa and I used to have kids interrupting us, and now we have
Oh,
dogs interrupting us, and that's what happens.
I mean
They
that's
have
not a
no
bad thing, but I'm sorry about the dogs.
it's all right. I'd rather have dogs than kids interrupting me. That's true. And I actually get a dog sitter on a Wednesday. So, but I do, and I miss him. I'd like him to be here interrupting me.
I'm just going to warn you now, Anna, that Lisa's not yet had a delivery she's expecting, and it usually comes during the podcast, so she'll probably get
Brilliant.
up and walk off midway through.
Do you know what it is? It's because I work from home on a Wednesday. Everybody gets things delivered to my house. So the work deliveries come. My son's got a delivery coming. Beth, my daughter, was like, oh, I'm so sorry, Mum. I've got a delivery coming. And I'm like, why on a Wednesday? Why?
The only
Yeah,
day
they
I
happen.
asked for and everything happens, isn't it? It's typical.
Yeah, everything. So how are you anyway?
Where are you as well?
I'll tell you where I am. I am actually in Kemsey in my granddad's house because we're sorting it out. Bless him, he's gone into care now. So we're just having a
Oh,
tidy through all of his stuff. So it's a hard day, but he's 97, so got the good genes. But yeah, I'm
you
actually at his
have.
house this afternoon to help my mom and her sister, my auntie. So it's an unusual day today because I'm not in the mountains, I'm not in Switzerland or Australia or anywhere else, but I am actually home, which is nice.
Oh, nice. So it's kind of a
Oh,
bittersweet though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Grandad's still with us, so that makes it a hell of a lot easier. But it is still the sentimental. Like my mum's been upstairs, bless her, crying, reading notes from my nana. She's no longer here, so it's been like
oh,
an experience. But it's also kind of makes you feel like they've come back. Do you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
we're talking about her, so it just feels like she's back in the room. So I quite like it because otherwise they're sort of in the back of your mind. But this is really real today, so it's nice.
I get that.
You just said about good
Yeah.
genes. I just wanted to pull back on something. You said about good genes because you've actually decided you're going to live for a very long time, haven't you, Anna?
Yeah, 100, yeah, 102, and it's like 12th of March. It's got a specific date and everything. So I always told my granddad, like my granddad when we were kids, he'd always say, I want to live long enough to see you retire, my youngest grandchild. And I said, that's good going, Granddad. And he said, well, I believe it can happen. Now he's 98 in May. Um, I mean, if I struck it lucky, I could be retiring. But he's now set his new intention, which is to see his youngest great grandchild retire. So he's moving goalposts all the time. So I think it helps. So now I've decided like 102, and that's it. You know, I'm already ready for King George to send that letter because I think it will be King George. That's what I'm sort of hoping. I'm going to live super long. So yeah, it's in the genes. I don't see why I shouldn't, and that's my granddad's way of talking. It's like, why can't you? So Nana was 91. My great granddad was 104. Nana T was 107. Granddad is 98 this year. So it's in the 90s, and
It's
you know,
it's
It's
definitely
on the cards.
possible.
on the
Definitely.
cards.
Do you think it influences your decisions, Anna, then in life choices?
Oh, that's an interesting one because I'm not naive to risk. I'm not naive to like, you know, any one of us could shorten it quickly if we chose to. So I guess in the back of my mind, I'm also wary that I've got a long way to go yet. I don't really want to hurt myself. You know, I've got a long way to go. I've got to look after the joints. Still got a long way to go. Probably shouldn't risk that. So it makes me aware that I've got a long way to go. So I just think, you know what, I just got to be cautious, but I don't, that doesn't mean to say I don't take risks. I just think every time I go away, my number one rule is make sure I come back home again.
Come back, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I never push myself so stupidly off the edge of stuff that I could actually hurt myself. And that's a lot to do with, I've got a long way with my nieces and potentially grandchildren one day. So I think, yeah, for their benefit, they're not even here yet, but I like them to meet me. So,
Mental. Can I just say, and you've also added to your chance of this lifespan, health span, let's call it,
yeah,
because you've taken a big decision this year as well, haven't you?
so it's the best decision. I honestly think this is the best decision I've ever done. So when I got first introduced to you guys at Be Sober, I thought, what you're doing is an incredible thing, you know, to help people who are already trying to help themselves. And you're like a living testament to everyone. And I think that's the biggest inspiration, is not just saying it, but living it. And then I started thinking, I can't be partnering with this group, this incredible tribe, without living it myself, because there's something bloody good about what everyone's feeling. So when I'm involved in what you guys do, it's not just fun, it's awesome. It's like this tribe of women and men. And I just think, do you know what, guys? Like, there's something about you that you've touched the edge of something and you've come far from it. And whatever you touched was daunting. And whatever that was, I'm just grateful I never touched it. But I could potentially be on a slippery slope to touch that. So I'm going to learn from all of you and see the benefit of everything that you guys are doing, and learn from those experiences to make sure I'm on the train you're on, because it's a really good one. So I decided, actually, do you know what is there was, I think, I can't remember who this was, it Tom Holland? I want to say it was Tom Holland, Spider-Man guy.
Yeah.
Earlier this year he got interviewed, and one of the things resonated with me with what he said. Now, I don't class myself previously or ever as an alcoholic, and but I do appreciate one thing that he said, and that was, the moment someone told me to stop was the fear that I couldn't do it. And I thought, so am I an alcoholic? No, I'm not an alcoholic. Am I an alcoholic? And I didn't really know what that meant. So I thought, hold on, if I can't let go of something, potentially there's a problem, potentially. And it was
Yeah.
that thought, do you know what? If someone said to me, you're not allowed to have such and such ever again, could I detach myself from it if it was something that's not going to give me good, you know, help me with anything? I was like, there's no reason why I need to continue the journey with alcohol. There's no real good I've ever experienced from it. It either makes you feel rubbish, which is number one. it doesn't give you focus, which is a big problem. And it can lead to doing awful things mentally as well as physically. Actually, what is the benefit of having it? Like, really, what is the benefit of having it? Actually, if I really gave this up, am I missing anything? Or am I joining this train ride, which is taking me better places? So I thought, I'm just going to see. So I started doing this end of last year, and I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to see how this goes. And you guys know a good friend of mine, Vicky. She's now sober for, I think it's 8 months. She's been
It's
incredible. She's
amazing.
had huge changes, and I mean, not just like mental, that's a massive benefit, but the physical as well. It's like she's lost loads of weight, she's looking good, she's
I
bright,
saw that on a TikTok, you know. Did she have some
No.
shorts and she was like, they were,
super confident.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like,
But she did it straight after the Be Wild, that the first Be
yeah,
Wild that she came to, because she just
that's
loved
right.
it so much. She
Yeah.
just went, I'm not doing this anymore. It was amazing. We
You
were like,
guys are infectiously positive. So I've joined this bandwagon, and I'm like, oh my God, like I don't miss it. I've gone through this moment of, should I have a little sneaky? No, why? Why do I need to have anything sneaky? Who is actually being ruined in that moment of sneakiness? It's only me. And why should I try to think that it's a good thing that I'm doing that to myself? So I was like, no, I can do this. And then, I'm a 1.5 stone lighter since
Wow.
January. So when you see me next, hopefully you'll see the benefit of that. So physically, I feel way better than I've ever felt, because I know there's no toxins in me. You know, I feel like I'm trimmer, I'm slimmer, I've got a bit more energy about me. I feel like, I don't want to say this in a harsh way, I don't think I was looking haggard, but I feel less haggard in my eyes. Like I don't feel as kind of like wiped and worn out with my eyes. The crow's feet are not as bad. I feel like I'm smiling naturally. I think that's a big one. I'm not smiling for the sake of smiling because there's something in me. It's not just I'm having a laugh over something that if I was sober, probably wouldn't laugh about. So that's made me through. And now I just feel like the rawest version of myself. So, and I think the term raw is what I like about it, because you are completely clear of anything that's taken over your body. And so here we are, like months later, and I'm 1.5 stone lighter. I'm feeling better. I'm more energetic. I don't miss it, which is amazing, which puts me in this self-control experience. And I only, was only a small a bit into this sort of alcohol journey. So the experience that somebody must have to have gone from like a deeper depth of alcohol to come out of that, I've just got this huge amount of respect for someone, because they were probably like, if we create an analogy of like the ocean, and the alcohol's the ocean, and everyone's bobbing in it, and some people are drinking it, some people are drinking it more, and they're sinking and sinking. There's some people on bedrock, that are at the bottom part of the ocean. I would put myself bobbing at the top, just in and out of it. And that the people for me that have come from the bottom to the top, or anyone under the water that have come through the surface, I don't think they're ever going to get in that water again. I just think if they can do it and they've been at bedrock, why the hell can I not when I'm already at the surface and all I need to do is jump out? So more than anything, it's taught me to respect the people who have done it and come a long way, because I've really no excuse. So I feel proud to be on this train, and I feel proud to have got out of the ocean, but I feel most proud of the people who have done it beyond that. And I can stand next to them and just be like, I'm with you, I get you, but geez, you've come from a long way down, like respect. So that's got me just going. So whenever people say to me, and I took this from your Be Sober events when we've done events with you, one lady specifically came to mind, and it was the sort of effects of friendship that you see change. And I had that experience, and I was like, I wasn't even really a big drinker, I was like, suddenly people are like, oh, you don't drink. It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm taking that like so positively, because all I've thought is, then you're not my person. You're not in my tribe.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but if you don't vibe with me, I'm not vibing with you. We're good. See you later. Go.
It's a weird one.
Yeah.
I love listening to newly sober people, right?
I
Because
want to stop drinking and I've already stopped.
it makes me want to stop again. And I'm like, oh, but because
Stop
after a
again.
while, it becomes kind of that rawness
What
that
can
you
I
were
give up?
describing.
I'm like, I'm going
Yeah.
to do some of the
Yeah,
Lent.
yeah.
We'll do
first
sugar.
time
We'll
ever.
do the Lent thing
Let's
that
do
I was
it.
talking about.
I'm in.
You see, the thing is that the rawness that you describe becomes not, it's not boring at all. Don't get me wrong. It's still amazing, but it becomes your normality.
Yeah.
And when you hear somebody re-talk about that, you go, yeah, I'm never going back to that. I'm never going. It makes me realize that I'm so grateful to
So good.
not do it
So good.
anymore.
They say it takes 21 days to form a new habit. That's all it is. So just like if anyone who thinks they can't do it, I think they just got to realize 21 days are all you need to commit to. The rest will sort itself out. You know, you can start to just get into a new habit. This is who you are. Like set yourself the intention now and just call yourself a non-drinker. Just say, I'm teetotal. This is who I am. Even if you drank this morning, you are teetotal now. And that's it. And move forwards with that mindset. And you won't go back. And if you feel like you're falling back, rely on the people like you guys to pull yourself off of it. But I think the biggest thing is this friendship thing that when people start to go, oh, you don't drink. It's like, oh, you must be boring. I can't tell you how less boring it is to not drink. It's like, it's better because I've got my wits about me. I'm trustworthy. I'm honest. You see what you see. This is what you get. Like when you drink, you change. I don't know who you are. Or, you become aggressive or you're not a nice person. And then you think, oh my God, was I all of that? Like, this is just me now. There's no fear that I'm going to go into a bar. If I have a 0 gin and tonics, that's another thing, there's no excuse for people nowadays. 10 years ago, there was no such thing as 0 flavored stuff. It was just you got juice and that was fine. But my other granddad, he was a celiac and he actually died in the 90s before there was like gluten-free products, and now there's like massive aisles of fiber and gluten and wheat-free stuff. There's no excuse for people now to kind of get poorly with it because there's enough out there. But I feel like it's the same with alcohol. Like, why are we still trying to intoxicate ourselves with nasty stuff when there's good stuff on the shelf? Like,
and really good stuff as well.
Really
Even
good.
Some of
like
it is nice.
Yeah, I just like
It's
other
0.
drinks. I think now I realise with drinks that I didn't like the alcohol in it. So one of the things that I used to think I liked was like a rhubarb gin and tonic. And actually, they do a rhubarb tonic and it is so nice. And you don't get the bit.
Nice.
You know what I mean? It's really nice. But
Mocktails as well. Mocktails are the best.
Oh, the mojitos. We love them.
Yeah.
We love them.
Oh, yeah.
I can tell Lisa's not gonna, she's gonna distracted now. She's trying to keep a question in her head. Go on, Lisa.
I know I wanted to talk about the friendships and like, because it is such a big thing and it's a thing that stops people from stopping drinking. So I do really want to talk about that because I was very similar to you, Anna. One of the things really early on that became apparent is everybody I knew drank. So everything I did socially was going to a bar or a pub or food or anything to do with alcohol. And when that stopped, or one of the reasons is I didn't know who I was anymore, but I knew that I weren't really enjoying my time out, or I weren't finding things amusing that other people did, and I wanted to know who I was without alcohol. And something that I took on was what you said is if people didn't really like me sober, or didn't want to go out. And at first I did take it a bit personally. I remember I was leaving a job and there was like, oh, you know what? Tell us when you're drinking again and we'll have a leaving party then.
Wow.
And I remember sitting there and I didn't know anybody that didn't drink and sitting there thinking, oh my God, like, will I never have any friends again? Because nobody seems to like this version of Lisa that isn't out, but that version isn't me. And I found it really hard and quite lonely in the beginning.
What was it that someone said to you, Lisa? And you was like, well, am I not enough? You literally were like, well, am I not enough without, am I not, what was it? Can you remember?
It was just that general thing. I didn't like, I wouldn't say that to them, but that was my internal thoughts to myself.
Not good
like,
enough without the alcohol in you.
Yeah. Do I need that?
Bad.
But then also I had that fight in me that like, hang on a minute. If you only like me with drink, you're not worth my time and energy because this is who I am. This 100%. Is the raw true, real version. And I think if you can tap into that and
Yeah.
embrace it and
Yeah.
own it, rather than sitting there being a bit like, woe is me.
Absolutely. I think that it's confidence, isn't it? And some people are insecure in themselves and feel like they need others to pick them up, and they're responsible from other people's to make them happy and stuff. But I think if you can get your brain into the idea, actually you are responsible for your entire happiness, like
Yeah.
everything. You can't blame your spouse, your partner, your friend, your kid, that they are making you unhappy. It's totally and utterly your reaction to a situation. And if someone's made you feel crap because they're like, well, you're not fun to be around if you don't have alcohol. Oh, well, you're not fun to be around telling me that. Bye-bye. So, and then finding new friends, you've got the confidence of saying, you know, the bestest people are the ones that are lifting you, well, no matter what, like they are lifting you up. So my bestest friends, when I said I'm not drinking alcohol, they didn't go, oh, well, you should be because we do. Like, I respect they want to. I've never ever tried to push anyone. It's like your religion. You don't push that religion onto someone else. If you've got it in you, you believe it full like heart, everything. They didn't. They said this. They just went, good for you. Brilliant. So now if I go
Yeah.
over there, they've bought Heineken Zero in case I fancy the taste of something like a beer, but it's not a beer,
Yeah.
which is really sweet, but I tend to just have like squash. But it's just really nice that they're kind of endorsing it. And my
Yeah.
sisters, they're like, good for you. You don't really need it anyway. They talk you into this new frame of mind anyway. So they're kind of encouraging you. And I think it's like with anything, when you've been on a health journey and you've lost weight and you realize some people in your life may have influenced you putting weight on or got bad habits, you start to pull back from that type of person because you think
Yeah.
they've been a bad influence, so maybe they're not good for me. Maybe these people over here are the ones I need to hang around with. And slowly your friendship might look completely different, but it's better for you. And ultimately, coming back to that, you're responsible for that. What do you want to look like in 12 months, 2 months, 12 years, whatever? Like, have you got an image in your mind? You know what you want to look like, but then work on it. Don't give in, because the only person losing is you.
Yeah. I want a clip of you saying something like this, because I find it really hard to talk to people in the early days when they are so worried about the social life. And because for
Because
me
it's
now,
been and gone
being
for us, hasn't it? We're so
it's
far
like
on.
so many years now, what like I want to say is you won't know any of them. You probably won't be with
Yeah,
your husband or your wife or you, like,
exactly.
do you know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like,
Yeah,
your life will be so
yeah,
different, but you will love it, and you will,
exactly.
and it's really hard because obviously
Yeah.
it's a really scary place for them. And like you say, we've often rely on other people for our happiness, and it's learning to own that. But the amount of people that rely on alcohol for
Mm-hmm.
confidence and for happiness and for going out and having a laugh, and actually it slowly takes all that away. It takes away your confidence. And people have it because they feel anxious, but it actually makes you more anxious and
Yeah.
it's that cycle, isn't
There's
it?
a quote. It's just made me think of this quote because I love quotes, and one of the things that I do every day is I read a daily quote, and this was years ago, but it's coming back to what you've literally just said. That confidence and wanting to do the best for yourself. And I think there's a lot of people who are scared of the unknown, and it's that not just feel the fear and do it anyway. That's cliche, but it's the fear of like, if not now, when?
Yeah.
That's a really big one. So if you're not going to start now, when are you thinking this is going to happen? You
Yeah.
know, that's a really big one. But I think when they're scared of doing something, feel that scared of the unknown. And it's like, do you know what? This is the quote. I already know what it feels like to fail. Let's see what happens when I don't. And I love that. It's like, look, you've already been here. You've been here for 5 years in this sad pit. You've been here for 10 years in this sad pit. You already know what the outcome's going to be if you drink that bottle of vodka tonight. You already know what's going to happen if you drink that glass of wine every single evening. You know that failure because you've done
Yeah.
it for so long. Let's see what happens to you when you don't do it. Let's just see what happens. Just try it, 21 days, and then get to that and say, do you know what? I'm in a better place. Do you know what? This is scary. Get it. But everything we do that gives us some sort of gratitude is quite scary. But I believe that unless we change, things stay the same. So which one do you
Yeah.
want? Like, which one do you really, really want? If you're already on the edge, you know already which one you want. It's a leap. Let's go. Let's do it. Let go.
It's
Let's
that
go.
experimental mindset, though, still, you know, like even though you're wording it like that, what I've noticed all the way through your language when you're talking about it is, let's give that a go. Let's try that. Let's see what happens
100%.
if. And
Yeah, yeah.
that is what breeds success. Because everybody who has lasted on the sobriety journey that I know personally now, and I'm sure Lisa will agree, didn't go, I can't have any more alcohol. I mean, yes, some of them were told for medical reasons. Don't get me wrong, I can't. But everybody approached it with, okay, what will life look like? How can it be different? They all
Yeah.
approached it with that experimental mindset.
Yeah. What is it? Yeah, exactly. What is it you want? What is that goal? Is it to just be sober? Well, all you got to do is do this, you know? Or is it an even bigger picture? You want to be fitter, healthier, happier, like, because that's what you're going to get. So if you're going to go for it, be prepared because you're going to get the best. So let's go. You know, it's that expect the best because you're probably going to get it. But this is all you've got to do is just take that first step. And I saw it with weight as well. You know, people, and I think weight and alcohol can be kind of combined in some respects. Both are unhealthy for you the more you do of bad stuff. It's that initial, like, if I eat that cupcake, it's not going to be good for me. But hey, I'm just going to eat it because I fancy it. Great, I've got a sugar rush, feel guilty. Later, someone offers you a cupcake. Oh, do you know what? I felt guilty. Do you know, I'm just going to eat it because I really fancy it. And then 12 months down the line and you've eaten cupcakes and cupcakes or biscuits or whatever, and suddenly you're like 4 stone overweight and you're like, geez, where did that come from? Well, it'll be the bad habits you've done every single day. So then they
The
go through
little
this stage,
things, isn't it?
God, how am I going to lose 4 stone? That is like a massive amount of weight. Well, yeah, it is. It's a considerable amount, but you put it on so you can take it off. But they kind of jump to this, oh God, I've got to do that now.
Yeah.
No, it took you a year to put it on. It took you an entire year to put it on. Let's see what happens over next
Yeah.
year. All you have to then do is the same in reverse. You don't think about the 1,000 cupcakes that you've eaten in a year. You think about that one you've just been offered. And this time you just say no. And that's all we have to do.
And it's
What's the
just say no
next
to each
two?
one.
Each one, not the whole freaking year. We can't look at that. But let's just look at now. Do you want a cupcake? No. Brilliant. Right, now let's just try that again in 4 hours if it comes.
I'm
Four
going to
hours
use it with
comes.
cupcakes though now, right?
Yeah.
Because I am going to use it with cupcakes because that's what
I'm actually going to use it with Easter eggs because
Yeah, well,
I
that's
had
what I mean
2
with
little
chocolate.
Easter
Yeah.
eggs yesterday and I could have said
Yeah.
no to them and I keep saying yes to them. So I'm going
Yeah.
to use them with that.
Is that your Lent? Is that your Lent giving up then going back to that, Lise?
No, we don't put pressure on ourselves, Alex. I'm just going to say no one at a time.
Just one at a time. That's it.
Just
My
one at
granddad
a
taught me
time.
hundreds
One
of my
Easter egg by one Easter egg.
my
Anna, you
granddad
know
taught me
what?
something as well. When I was having surgery and I have a lot of things in my life were ship shape out of control. I had changes in my health, changes in my house, like finances, like, in every avenue. And I was like, oh God, granddad, how can I figure this out? Like, it's too much to deal with. And it kind of comes back to simplified the cupcakes. You know, I've had too much. How do I bring it all back to like a lower weight? Or drink, you know, how do I bring the control back to just doing like one or none? And he just said, this classic, he went, life is but an obstacle race, Anna, and you can't tackle all the obstacles in one go, so just focus on the one in front of you. And I was like, genius. And that was it. I just thought, right, what next? If a cupcake comes in front of me, that's my obstacle. I say no. And if, you know, a job comes in front of me, I've got an interview, I say yes or no. That's it. Just whatever reaction I have in that moment is the thing I tackle. I don't worry about the next lot of hundreds and hundreds of things that we know we're going to come across. But if someone offers me an alcoholic drink, I just say no. Say no, I'm all right, thanks. Oh, you don't drink alcohol? No. Proud of it. Really proud of it. And then they go, oh yeah, good for you. Or you find that tribe and they go, oh, well, don't you have fun? I have brilliant fun, thanks. How do you sleep at night? Peacefully. Better than I did when I had alcohol in me. Oh, right. And then you can try to like encourage people to join on. And you go, yeah, do you know, it's actually really good for you. Oh, I should try that. Yeah, Guinness Zero tastes the same as Guinness. No alcohol. And then you can wean others off and then you feel like you're doing good. So yeah, one thing at a time. Just that's what I would do. Break it down.
I love it. You know what else I love? I feel like you are surrounded by quite inspirational people, Anna, as well. Like,
Positive people, isn't it? It's like,
yeah,
You,
yeah.
yeah. 100%. Yeah, I'm attracted to you guys. I'm attracted to
I didn't mean us guys. I meant
but
like
you are also mega
go on,
inspirational.
go on, go on.
Go
It's
on.
all right.
I think
go on, lap it up, Lise, lap.
go on. You guys are amazing. Do you know what it is? Is that I resonate on a frequency of helping others is a big one. I love
Yeah,
helping people. Because ultimately there's self-medication in that, you know, you're fixing things that you've had problems with yourself, and you're seeing the benefit to put that on others, to say, hey, look, this has been brilliant for me, I want to share that with you. And it's the people that help themselves that I get addicted to, because I think,
yeah,
holy cow, you've got such grit and determination, and this like uh, I this power within that I get addicted to, of being able to achieve, like, again, I use my granddad a lot in every single day, but one of the things he always said to me when he was getting older and my nana, bless her, passed on, I said, Granddad, well, how do you have a motivation to keep going? You know, that's quite a big question, very deep question, because he's like in his 90s, he's living by himself, you know, and all that kind of worry for him to have to just wake up and just be here. And he said he just gives himself a purpose. That was it. Just give yourself a purpose every day, whether it's just emptying the bins and that's your purpose, whether that's collecting your pension, but make your purpose strong. And for me, my purpose has always been to help others and to live a life that feels like I've made a positive impact. And it doesn't need to be 1 million people. It could be one, just one
yeah,
person that I feel like, you know what, I helped them. That's what I was here for. That was all it was. But I did it, and they had a better life, and that made me feel good. And I think you guys are doing that in a big way. And there's big inspirational people that I love to be around, because I see them doing that. And you want to ride, you want to go on that journey, because I don't want to be somebody that's just taking up oxygen for the sake of it and not kind of leaving my stamp to say, hey, did I help someone today? And that's where I feel like I've fulfilled my destiny. And I think that's what you guys are doing, is helping others by your own experiences, by your own traumas, to prevent that happening on other people.
Can we
I love
visit
that.
that? Can we go back to that? Because I know that obviously we are now second time round on here. We've met you a few times, you know, but there will be people now who literally they're going, well, you've just plunged straight in. Who's Anna? Because the reason that the reason you're like this comes from way back, doesn't it? I don't know if you're okay doing this or not, so please say no if not. But do you want to
Yeah.
just take us through your story and what got you to this point and this purpose?
Yeah, I mean, my story's years old, but it comes with me. It's a little bag that I'm proud to carry. But so as a kid, you know, I was bullied. I've got a twin sister. We were both bullied for having, you know, looking what they say, looking like a boy and being into boys stuff, and kind of having this idea that whatever it was we were enjoying wasn't meant for us. Like, we were not allowed to do that. And I hated it. It was years of rejection, years of feeling undervalued, unappreciated, not, I wouldn't say completely unloved, not in the family. I was mega loved in my family, but outside of the four walls of our home, it was that feeling of not being loved, not being accepted. And that kind of pulled in this negative feeling that I was like broken. Like, who am I then if I'm not like everyone else? Like, what am I doing? Why have I got it wrong? And so you feel like you kind of blame yourself. And through those years of school, and I hated high school for the reason that you know, I had a heavy, my twin got bullied terribly, but I was at the backlash of that as well. And when you look at the people that actually they bullied you, when you get a bit older, and it is a really scary tipping point, because you can understand mental health in young people, especially nowadays with social media, because they can believe everything. I had the luck that I didn't have technology behind me to look to.
Yeah,
So the only people I looked to were my family, and they used to give me a lot of confidence that, you know, ignore them, you know, be this, be that. Granddad, you know, used to say, you know, don't listen to those bullies, that they're just jealous. And that helped me. Whereas if I look to like phones now, I'd have found the wrong answer, and that would have led down a further dark place. And that I think is a big problem. But coming back to the story, so I had that kind of experience through school, into college, didn't know what the hell I was meant to do. I was like, oh God, I've tried. It was 27 jobs before I was 24. And I just couldn't maintain anything. I was like, it's got to be me. It's all got to be me. that's when I took myself up the local Malvern Hills, where I'd walked for years with my grandparents, my parents, my sisters. We had picnics up there. I just went up there. I just felt this tug. And I sat up there, and that's when I wrote down all the words that described me in life right then. Oh my God, they were horrible. You know, overweight, sad, depressed, low, insecure, lack of confidence. And then I wrote down all the words that I wanted to be. Like, and more so who I was, like as a kid. Why did I not feel the stress of the power of like society on me when I was like 5? I didn't care. I was just doing me. So I went for that experiment of, hold on, who's Anna? Like, what was I? Why was I so fun then, so happy and vibrant, and my eyes looked alive, and everyone loved me for who I was then? Why have I gone through this journey of feeling like I don't have that acceptance now? So I wrote down all these words, and it was like adventurous and loving, family, you know, positive, high energy, and all this. And I just wrote down these words, and I started to circle the ones that I really resonated, like super strong resonated with. And I listed 10, and then that 10 became 5, and then that 5 became 3. And those 3 are the ones that are on my tattoo on my wrist in initials, and they just so happen to be my initials of my name, Anna Louise Humphries. ALH, which was adventure, love, and happiness. And that gave me guidance. That was like my Bible. That was, you know, this that's always there so I can see it. And then from that point, after tears and recognizing that I've only done all this destroying because I've decided to. It was completely my decision. Coming back to that responsibility of it's my life, it's my choice, it's my happiness. As equally as it's my sadness, it's my depression, it's my choice if I want to go low. And I was like, I don't want to go, I don't want to go down. You know, I got to do me. What is it I want? So that's when I changed completely. And it wasn't like a full overnight thing. That moment was quite a switch. And then progressively over the years to come, I started to choose things based on my values. I started to look for things that were aligned with what I enjoy. And I started to ignore the people that weren't nice to me. And I just grew inside this confidence as, you know, okay, well, you do you, I'll do me. And I'm just doing me now. And you've probably heard of the I can't remember her name, Robbins, but the let
Mel
them
Robbins,
theory,
the
you know,
let
just
them, let them. Yeah, I was
Mel
just
Mel
going to say it's
Robbins.
very much like the let them theory, isn't it?
Powerful. It is powerful. And she was an inspiration to me back then as well. And, you know, just let them. If they want to do that, let them. You know, if they want to be nasty, let them. But don't let them get to you. That was the big change for me. Just don't let them in. Okay, let them do it, but don't let them in. And slowly over the years, you know, not finding a job and who I was meant to be, I just started to research what I liked, you know, literally. And Instagram helped. I started to just hashtag adventure, hashtag hiking, and started to look at inspirational posts and people and thinking, they look like they're having fun, I want to do that. And then I started living that. I started doing it and being it. And it was like somebody came up to me and said, hey, what do you do? I'm no longer an unhealthy, overweight, sad, depressed lady that's like without a job. I can actually say I'm a hiker. You know, I'm a wild camper. I'm a trail runner. Like this, oh my God, I am actually, because I'm doing it. I'm not lying. This is actually really me. And then so comes the confidence, and so comes the fitness, and so comes the happiness. And then, hey, if someone comes into my life and goes, oh, so that's a bit like, you know, for men, surely? No? Why is it for men? Like, tell me, like, challenge it. Go challenge them every time. And sometimes it's just educating. Some people are naive to it. But hey, let them, like, crack on. If you think that, but I'm doing it anyway, because this is me. So I've narrowed that thinking of just do me, let them, and move forwards that way. And I think that massively helps. So then I, you know, came up with a job, which was my company, to design my own brand because there was nothing. And that's how the Mountain Girl was born. And I literally chose the Mountain Girl because I thought that's me. That's everything that I resonate with. I chose colours because life had come back colourful for me. When I look back, I found a photograph. I'll send it you guys, but it's a photo of me. And I was about, my mom thinks I was 3 or 4. And I'm wearing all of my Mountain Girl colours in one picture. I was like,
Oh, I
Really?
love
what it
that.
is.
You need to
So
bring that to Be Wild and get that on the presentation for the
yes,
talk. Yeah,
yes,
That's giving
yes.
me goose pimples. I
Annie,
love
Annie.
that.
It's
Yeah.
It's
amazing. But I
always meant to
believe
be.
like life is mapped, and sometimes we might take a wrong turn, but we're ending up the right way. We just got to try and look for the trails, and that was like, I knew it. I was always going to be the mountain girl. I was always going to use those colors because that's part of me, and I think that's a massive deal for everyone, is dig into the inner child of you, like dig into that inner you, find out exactly what you are, what you're meant to be here for, and sometimes it's the experiment of just figuring it out, sitting on top of a hill and writing down your words and feeling what you resonate with. And so this is it. That's 2012, so 13 years this year, in November, and Mountain Girl's booming and I'm getting busier, but it's not, for me, it's not about the focus on, money and business. I'm not very good at that. It's the focus on having a happy life and doing the thing I love and being passionate about it and sharing time with like-minded people, because I don't want to be, turns out I don't want to be inside four walls doing a mundane job. It's
doing
just not
girl
me.
stuff.
Girl stuff. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I just do me stuff, and people can choose what that looks like. But for me, it's pure happiness.
It's so funny. It makes me smile. And every time you've said it, when you talk about the perception, because I've never really thought about the outdoors being a boy thing. Yeah, but I guess, but I've not been living it like you live it either.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there must be quite a big popular perception of what outdoors looks like for
I
everybody
think
to believe it's a boy thing.
there was, I think, and I'm kind of confidently saying that now as a past participant, because more and more women are getting into the outdoors, because more and more women are getting into the outdoors. And I think there was just a time where it just wasn't for women, and that's fine. Like, if they weren't doing it, that's fine. The difference is the accepting that they're allowed to. That's all it is for me. It's just, it is for everyone. It's always been for everyone. It may have been heavily dominated by males before because that's what it was, fine. But let's not close it to just the males. Like, and the more times you see women outdoors, then girls are seeing people going out, they're women outdoors, they think, oh, they can do that. And I love going into schools and seeing like these little girls, and they're like, I'd love to be a mountaineer. And it's like, you can. And all it takes is for someone who's older than you to look up to say, oh yeah, I can, because they can, And for me, it's just having another print out there, saying, hey, look, you can, because we do it. It's open for you too.
You're probably in that bubble as well, because we were talking about this, like when we first went to an event where we'd been, and it wasn't a Be Sober event, we just was astounded that people still had drank alcohol. We're like, oh, there are still people drinking, because we've been so much in our little bubble that we'd created in sobriety.
So true.
And you've created that bubble of women
Yeah.
outdoors. So that's what you see.
That's so true. And I can actually resonate with that as well, Alex. So when it comes to smokers, like, I smoked when I was 17 or something, and it was bad friendship circles, and it was like this, you must do this to be our friend. And I went through all that rubbish, and then I grew out of it. I thought, no, I just do me. Why am I hurting myself for them? They're not real friends if they want me to hurt myself. So I'll stop. And then vape started to be a thing, and I was like, yeah, I'm not down for that. And then you siphon yourself out of that audience. And now when I find a smoker on the street, I'm like, oh, cigarettes are still a thing then, because I thought they were like out. But it's true. It's like, it's entirely what you do, you suddenly attract, and you without knowing it, you just draw away from the stuff that you don't want in your life anymore.
It's funny, isn't it? Because saying that, it shocks me. I've done some like dips and things, or even when I've been out in the hills or like mountains and seen people smoke before, and you go, oh, like it really shocks you, doesn't it? That it still happens. That's not with any judgment whatsoever, but it does, because you're not used to seeing it. Is so inspiring, Anna. Every time I speak to you, I want to do something. Like, I know last time we did the podcast, I was on the edge of my seat, and I feel like that again. And I think it's really good. I love the idea of seeing more women outdoors as well, because I love being out in nature. I really do. And I think it's nice for other women to have other women to go with as well, because physically, I feel that men and women are quite different when it comes to hiking and walking. And there's hikes that I will say do with my partner, and he's fast and all I do is see his ass up the mountain and it really annoys me. And then I get frustrated and it ruins the whole walk for me because I'm just mad at him. You know, like, and I remember going on my first like Love Her Wild walk actually and thinking, oh my God, like I can totally do this. Like
Yeah.
it's such a nice pace. And we did quite a few of our Be Sober members did Scarfell Pike with you, with the
Yes.
Mountain Girl.
Yes.
And it was so good. And again, people were so nervous about coming because they'd not done anything for ages. But the way that you do it, I think, and you've got like somebody at the top, somebody in the middle, somebody at the bottom, and you never feel like if you're behind for a little bit, you don't feel like you're behind, if that makes sense.
Good.
Or
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
you just do it in such a lovely way. And I know people walked away from doing that. They were so scared to do it. And they loved it, and you helped them believe in themselves the whole way. That they've gone on to book Ben Nevis with you as well. So
amazing, right? Can't wait, July. So that's really kind, thank you. And I think that's coming back to the purpose of my life, you know, like seeing people improve do something that improves someone else's life. And I can resonate. My first time I ever climbed a mountain was Snowdon, and I didn't get to the top. That was it. The very, very first time I ever been up a mountain. I got halfway, and I felt unfit. I felt like I just couldn't do it. Now I went completely on my own. So I didn't go up because I was actually scared and I didn't know what to do. And that was years and years ago. And, you know, I trained myself, became a mountain leader. I went back and nailed it, and it felt incredible. But it taught me, and I think this is what I like about it, it taught me what it's like to be in that place. So I've grown and grown and grown. So I resonate with people who are there in that first footsteps of I've never even owned mountain boots. Like, okay, I haven't even walked up the local hills. Okay, we can still do this. Like, but the way that we try to do it is really nicely summed up the way you said, Lisa, and that's literally step by step. And we have fun, we take breaks, we do it like there's never anybody at the back because it's my team at the back. So you're never going to be at the back. Like, no, I'm at the back, or my colleagues at the back, actually. So you're not at the back, you're never at the back. Equally, there's people that want to push at the front, and we'll stop at the front and say, look, take a break. But I never, ever forget everyone. Like, every single person matters. And it's not just, oh, let's get the 5 people at the front to get to the top and then bring everyone down. It's like, hold on, there's people who are still going, and you guys have stopped for 10 minutes. Let's give them a break too, because this is their experience and their journey, and everyone's getting something out of it. And for me that day, I'm sure she won't mind me mentioning, but Dee, who's been going through her own chemotherapy and everything, she's had a journey, and to see her turn up to the challenge first of all was like respect. You know, you're taking this on, you've got the right mindset already, let's give this every shot. Now 12 months before, she couldn't even walk to her corner shop. She said she couldn't even walk down her road. And 12 months fast forward, just suddenly got Scarfell Pike in front of us, and she's like, this is big. And yeah, you're not wrong, but what she's gone through is even bigger. So this is possible. And getting her to that height of the mountain that day and seeing her achieve something was insane. But what was most beautiful is the rest of the team cheering for her because she'd done it.
It's making me dead emotional.
I can see you welling up. I'm like,
honestly,
it
is.
And that is more about the journey for me. You know, the summit's there, the summit's beautiful, and if we get there, fantastic, it's a bonus. But the journey, the friendships, and the fun that is on those trips for me is the best. I can go up those mountains anytime I want, but I choose never to. I only go when I'm with you lot because it's so much more fun and it's so much more rewarding. And you know, knowing that you've gone home feeling like you've achieved something massive. And I'm so proud of everyone. I genuinely, every single time I do, I've just come back from Snowdon and we had a group go up there and we came down and it was like touch and go. They were not sure if they could do it. And we just took step by step, broke it down. We made it. We took the photograph. Everyone came back down and we had a pub grub and it was big celebrations and we all drove home. And as soon as I got home that night, all I kept on thinking is, they're going to be soaking in their baths, so proud of themselves. And I am absolutely loving that feeling of just knowing how happy they are. And then I got the messages coming through after, like, it was the best, you know, thank you so much. And then you look back on the photos and you remember every single person because they all bring something to the team, you know, and that's what I like.
Oh,
So,
you're just
and it's like you
amazing.
say about the journey as well, isn't it? And you make it
Always.
about that. I think so many people, when you go hiking on mountains, are like, "Oh, what time did you do it in?" Like, what? Why
Why?
does
Do you
that
know what
matter?
Did
though,
it?
Like,
Liz?
Yeah, did it?
why?
But that is the same in life. You can apply that physical journey to every aspect of life. Like, do you know, like I go back to it, and I'm sorry, I'm probably boring the heck out of people going on about my blooming organ, but but you know what? The joy is not in the moment that I play the piece. The joy comes in the moment where I'm learning the piece and I'm getting better at it and I'm getting over the
Yeah,
tricky bits. And
Yeah.
then
yeah,
the end's great. It's amazing. But
yeah,
what brought the most joy was the weeks of putting it together,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and that's the same with sobriety. It's the same with
Oh God,
walking,
yeah.
speaking, and
Oh, the
Even
journey of,
like
yeah, it's
with
amazing.
Be
Like,
Sober. Sorry, Anna, go on.
no, I'm agreeing with the sobriety thing. Like, I can actually say I know what that completely different in terms of the depth of the ocean, as we spoke about earlier. But the sobriety journey gives you that kick. I didn't know that because I've never done it, but it's like, hey, let's just see. And you get a kick because you kind of start to go, check me out, 7 days.
this is
Or
what
no,
people don't
21
realize,
days.
right? And I'm going to say this now because you've just given me a bit of a spur. People say, I want to be sober. The moment you choose, you are, you are. And it's the
Yeah,
Yeah,
same with climbing a mountain. The moment
yeah,
you step foot on the mountain, you're a
you're
mountain
climbing the
climber.
mountain.
100%.
Yeah.
It's isn't it? The moment you decide is the
Yeah,
moment you are. Doesn't matter whether you were sober, as you said, going back full circle. Even if you had a drink that morning, if you then stop and go, I'm not doing it, you're sober.
yeah,
It doesn't matter
100%.
if that's 5 years, 10 years, 2 years, 20 years.
Yeah,
It's just make the
I love
decision.
this. She's gonna pinch all this, Anna, you know.
do it.
In a
I've just
podcast in
created it,
about
Liz.
3 weeks, she's
Just
gonna
created it.
recreate
I've just
everything you
created it.
said.
I just created
Do
it.
it. I love it. I
Yeah,
But
agree.
I
well,
I
if
do
you
it
rewind, you
genuinely. I do it with my, and I'm not just saying this. I do this with people on the PT. When I get my PT clients, again, we're talking about this. They come in and often they're overweight, they're miserable, they're menopausal, they want to lose weight, they want to be strong, they feel frail, weak, anxious, you name it. Put any word there. And they walk through the door and it's huge. Getting over the door is huge. And then we go, right, okay. And they go, I just want to be strong. And I'm like, you're doing it. The moment you cross the door, you're doing it. You're already
That's just
doing
made
it.
me think about, like, I say witchcraft, but bear with, go with me on this. The idea of words and the power of words. And I saw these quotes, on socials, and it's like words are made up of letters, and creating words, you have to, spells in witchcraft create something,
yeah,
and the words you choose actually spell what it is that you're going to be living. So I completely agree. And my twin sister Jen, she always says to me, the minute you start telling yourself you're something, you've already believed it. So choose your words carefully. Like, if you say, well, I'm fat, then that's what you've accepted yourself to be. Oh, I'm too unfit for that. Well, you've already decided then you're not going to do it. Why don't you say to yourself, I can do that, or I'm healthy, and see what happens. Just try it. Just start doing that little flick of the
it's
switch.
it's affirmations, isn't it? And I suppose that's what we've kind of described throughout,
Mm,
is the words and the affirmations and saying it, because they're all I am already
Yeah.
absolutely.
doing it. And
Yeah.
I am a big fan of that. And it's not just like you that gets to feel like that. It's like what you said before, you tell other people that, and then they see you as that. You're literally creating your own
Yeah.
reality
Yeah.
by speaking them words. And it's just so
Absolutely.
exciting to see, isn't it? I
And
love
do you know what's
it.
exciting about that is that your reality can change with one word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally once, like bang, just
That's
a swipe.
manifestation, isn't it? It's like you're
100%.
Yeah.
saying, it's
Oh, this
manifesting
is
it
my type of
immediately.
podcast, guys.
Yeah.
It's like, because I used to think, like I remember watching as a younger woman, The Secret, right? And I used to
Nice.
literally think that this is before, way back when I first started this, but before my sobriety. And I remember Lisa telling me about it and me thinking, right, so you just like wish for something, then you get it, right? Well, that's a load of junk, innit? That's a load of rubbish. You can't just wish for something and get it. And you know what's missing out of that? A wish isn't anything, is it? Like, a wish is just a thought that comes and goes. You need a plan. You
Well,
need
if
to
you'd have read
act
The
it.
Secret properly, it'd have told you that, Alex.
Yeah, but you're not getting. Yeah, but you know what?
That was
That
the
is,
secret.
but that is the truth. That is the truth of doing anything like this, though, isn't it? Until you're
Yeah.
in that mindset of
Mm,
doing rather than wishing,
yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't do it. You've got to go with, right, I'm going to live that life because that's the life I want. And I didn't get it. It took years. And do you know what it happened when it happened? When I got sober.
Yes.
Yeah, it
You know,
did.
we
so
used to talk
powerful.
about this a lot, Alex, like when you were setting up your own business. And I used to spend, honestly, hours with Alex, like going, right, what do you want? Like, what, look at the outcome. Yeah, but I can't because I've got to do this first and I've got to do this first. And I'm like, no, just take it back. Like, what's the vision? Like, what do you want? Do
Yeah.
you remember the hours?
I do, because I mean, I came out of teaching, Anna, right? So I came out of a teaching job, and it wasn't pleasant, or the exit was not pleasant. Now, to appreciate this fully, you have to imagine the kind of little swotty person that lived by rules that I was, right? Everything in my life had a bell, a timetable, a plan, a place, everything. Every little aspect of my life had a map ahead of it. And it was told by everybody else. Do you know, like, there's that thing, isn't there, about what people who wear a tie, that they've just literally been, the tie what holds them to the job. That's how it was. That's how it was, right? I didn't know there was an alternative. So everything was going fine. And then my teaching job goes, and I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do with my life? And Lisa's like, what do you want to do? Well, I'd quite like to work with people, right? Well, I'd quite like to sort of help people, right? And then I wouldn't do it. So I had this kind of vision, and then I wouldn't do it. So do you know what she did? And this is true. I wanted to be a coach before I became a PT. So Lisa plonked a coaching course on my virtual metaphorical lap, said, do that. She did it with me, by the way, separately.
Brilliant.
We booked our very first client together. And she
Wow.
used to sit in my coaching conversations. And then when I had a few clients, she said, I'm not doing this anymore, and just dumped me,
Fantastic.
right?
What a friend. What an amazing friend. That's brilliant.
It's the truth, though. It's absolutely the
That's
truth.
I
incredible.
knew she could do it. And it's so funny because when you
Yeah.
say it, it must have been really hard for you because it was frustrating for me, but it must have been so frustrating for you back
So
then
scary.
because of how you were. And I'm literally going, but you can do whatever you want. And she's
She
like,
kept saying
but
the
you
world's
can.
made up. The
And I'm
world's
going,
made
you
up.
can. The world, yeah, I did that.
Yeah,
The
it
world
is.
is made up. And she's going, no, it isn't. And I'm like, yeah, it is. She's going,
Yeah.
yeah, but you were so like,
I couldn't
school,
understand.
university. I'm going, well, who did that? Who taught them?
Yeah.
I said, it's
Yeah.
all made up. And she's
Everything's
going,
made
but it
up.
isn't.
Everything's including our stresses. Everything's made up. Everything is make belief.
It
And
was so
it's
funny.
one thing to change. And that's made me think as well that the idea of like human beings, that's what we are. Like we be. So be the thing that you went to be. We're human beings, not human thinkings or human wonderings or anything, but human beings. So be that. And that is powerful. I love how that came about. Because
You
it has
forget.
just
You
one change.
forget, 5, 6 years ago, honestly, let's just go back 6 years. This time 6 years ago, I was in a classroom teaching, I was drinking, I was like just so far away from the world I live now, like, and bit by bit by bit. And I do give a lot of credit for this, actually. Lisa's just like dropped a crumb and I've gone. She's dropped a crumb and I've gone. And now I'm the one like dropping crumbs. I was like a year
Amazing.
behind her. Do you know what I mean? And it's
Amazing.
true.
Yeah.
It's
That's so
true.
incredible. And look at what you've created. I think that's just wonderful. And all these people that are joining it. And that is, I think, testament to you guys. But it won't have happened unless you went through that journey.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's why we have to do these hard things. So when people sit there and go, well, why me? Or why is it hard for me? Or, maybe I'm not meant to be doing it. And then maybe you are. And actually, you probably are. You actually really definitely are. And let's find out why and let's go there. So follow it, be it, go with it and see where it takes you. But you've got to take the risk. They have to take the risk.
I
Otherwise,
love this.
stay with it.
I'm
know,
so
and it's like
conscious of
not long
time.
enough.
You are.
And again, it's not long enough.
I know. We're going to have to get you back, Anna, because I think we could just do
I'm good.
loads of like.
Before Anna does
snippets.
go though, can we just say you are doing Be Wild with us again this year in June, aren't
Yes.
you? Which we're
Yes,
really
that's right.
excited about. And
Buzzing.
watch this space. There might be something else coming up soon.
Hey, I'm so
we want you
excited.
to hold on, Anna. So
Will you
don't
stay
go.
on so we can talk about the something else?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've also got to say before we go back, I love that we kind of came to an end where you were saying about human beings and just be it. I really wanted to just end there and be like that. Be sober, you be a human being.
Go and be whatever it is.
You are be sober, be a human being. Yeah, love it.
I love it. Thank you so much, Anna, for coming on. And thank you,
Thank you
everybody, for
both.
listening. Go do something.
Go be
Make yourself
something.
proud. Go
Be.
be something. Yeah, just do it.
Do
Just
it,
do
do it, do it.
Thanks, Hannah. Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.